Okay, so what we're going to work on today is writing a quadratic function given 2 points. All right, so I'd like you to do the try this, so put me on pause and then come back and check your answers. Okay, so it says to write the vertex form for a parabola, identify the vertex and the axis of symmetry. Okay, so the vertex form is f of x is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. The vertex is hk. So remember that h is negative in here and here is positive, so that means you have to change the sign. And k is k, so that doesn't matter. And the axis of symmetry is x is equal to h. And the same thing, h is positive here, h is negative there, so you always have to change the sign. Okay, so now let's talk about writing the equation given 2 points. So we're going to talk about writing the equation given the vertex point and a point on the graph. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is I want you to write down the formula for vertex form. So step 1 is write the formula for vertex form. And this way, the more you write, every time you write it, the more likely you are to remember it. All right, then you're going to plug in the vertex and the point, and that goes into x, y. And then you're going to solve for a. And then you're going to rewrite it in vertex form, which is f of x is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. Okay, so let's take a look at the first one. Okay, so it says, write the equation of a parabola whose vertex is 1, 2 and passes through the point 3, negative 6. All right, so the first thing is we're going to write down the formula. F of x is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. All right, so we're going to plug in the vertex. So here's my vertex. Okay, so remember when I plug in h, I have to change the sign. So positive 1 will become negative 1, and k is just k. And then I'm going to plug in the point xy. So remember your y is f of x. All right, so I have f of x, which is y, is negative 6, is equal to a, that's what I'm going to solve for, times x, which is 3. Opposite of what my h is positive 1, so it'll be negative 1 squared, plus my k, which will just be 2. All right, so I have negative 6 is equal to a times 2 squared plus 2. So negative 6 equals 4a, because 2 squared is 4 plus 2. I'm solving for a, so minus 2, I get negative 8, equals 4a. So a is equal to negative 2. And now you just write down your equation. F of x is equal to a, which is negative 2, times x minus h. My h is positive 1, so I'll get negative 1. Squared plus k, which is plus 2. All right, let's try another one. All right, so I have write the equation of a parabola whose vertex is 4, negative 1, and passes through the point 2, 3. So we start by writing down the formula. F of x is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. All right, so my f of x is my y value, and that's 3, equals a, that's what I'm going to solve for, times x, which is 2, minus my h here is 4, so I change the sign to be minus 4, squared, and my k is negative 1. So it's 3 equals a times negative 2 squared minus 1. So that's 3 equals 4a minus 1. Add 1, I get 4 equals 4a. Divide by 4, I get a is equal to 1. So my equation is f of x equals a, which is 1, so I don't really need to put that. If you put 1, that's fine, times x, and then my h is minus 4 squared, and then minus 1 is my k. Okay, so I'll flip it over and work on the back. Okay, so this is writing the equation given 2 points, and the 2 points that you're going to be given are the x-intercepts. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to set each x value equal to x. So set each x value equal to x. And then you're going to set each of those equal, so set each equal to 0. And then you're going to set up as factors equal to 0. Set up as factors, that says factors, equal to 0. And then you're going to distribute. And then you're going to combine like terms. And then make sure you can write as concave up and concave down. Okay, and so basically what we're doing is we're doing factoring backwards. So this is backwards. Factoring. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at what we have. We have, write the equation of a parabola whose x-intercepts are -6 and 0 and 5, 0. So my x's are x is equal to -6 and x is equal to 5. Now I want them to equal 0 because remember when we have a quadratic, just right over here, let's say I have x squared plus 5x minus 6 equals 0. So my factors would be x plus 6 and x minus 1 equals 0. And then I would set them equal to 0. X plus 6 equals 0. X minus 1 equals 0. And then I get x is equal to -6. X is equal to 1. So I'm basically working backwards. So after I have them equal to x here, then I want them to equal 0. So I have to move the 6 and the 5 over. So I add 6 to both sides, so I get x plus 6 equals 0. And minus 5, I get x minus 5 equals 0. So now the next step would be to have them as a factored form equal to 0. So it'll be x plus 6 times x minus 5 is equal to 0. Now I'm going to double distribute. So I get x times x is x squared. X times -5 is -5x. 6 times x is 6x, and 6 times -5 is -30. Equals 0. So I'm going to clean it up and write it as a function. So f of x is equal to x squared plus x minus 30. Now notice my a that's here, it's 1. That's positive 1. So this is concave up. So now I want to also be able to write this concave down. So in order to write it concave down, I have to multiply everything by -1. So concave down, multiply by -1. So I get f of x is equal to negative, so it just changes sign, -x squared minus x plus 30. And this is concave down. Okay, so let's try another one. All right, so I have my x-intercepts are 3, 0, and -2, 0. So I have my x's are x is equal to 3 and x is equal to -2. So I'm going to -3. I get x minus 3 equals 0. Add 2, I get x plus 2 equals 0. Set it up as factors. X minus 3 times x plus 2 equals 0. Double distribute, we get x squared plus 2x minus 3x minus 6 is equal to 0. So write it as a function. So f of x is equal to x squared minus x minus 6. Notice my a, which is in front of x squared, is positive, so this is concave up. So I need concave down, so multiply everything by -1. I get -x squared plus x plus 6, and that's concave down. Okay, so that's it, and we'll practice more in class tomorrow. Have a good night.